Hello, welcome back to my channel. Just did a video about finding happiness when you feel shit, and then I did that video and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go. I didn't plan to like put my hair in and like properly like glow up or anything, and I kind of didn't, but I took some supplements. Did I get changed? I got into this top that I made. Can't really be asked to show it completely, but it's this little crop top and I made it ages ago, and I was like, I was trying to sort my rooms out because my bloody whole load of things, my phone wasn't loading because it was uploading something onto YouTube. I was like, oh, I'll just go and fucking clear up my house and sort it out because I've recently come back from a trip. And then I came across this top and I was like, screw it, I'm going to put this on. And then I came across my hair extensions and I was like, oh, my hair's red again. Couldn't deal with my hair extensions again. So I sorted that all out, and luckily I put all my oils and shit in it this morning, and my bloody from Lush there's this thing called wig which makes your hair look like a wig, and then I like put my extensions in as well, so I was like, that should hopefully blend quite well. And you know, to be honest with you, if you know you know, when you're Irish, hair extensions are literally the way. When you've got your hair extensions in, you feel good, and that is just the way. And if you know you know. I've heard people say that on YouTube, and I think if out of context you'd be like, I don't really know, but if you don't know, then you don't know. I'm past caring. If you know, you know. So I have made a couple of notes, and so I will just go with them. I think there's a few like inspirational ideas where, to be honest with you, sometimes life is a bitch and you just want to go onto the internet, see some positivity, see some inspiration, and that's where I come in. And I see some channels sometimes and they're like, I'm going to be on a YouTube grind, and hopefully that's what I plan to do from now on for the foreseeable future, which would be great, because to be fair, I have had a little bit of a spurt with my channel, but I need to get my hours up. So like, you know, not that it matters about the numbers at all, but also like if I actually just want to like keep like putting out content, to be fair, because it's like super fun and I just like to do it. So anyway, and to be fair, it's starting to get to the point now where like I'm out and about and I think, ooh, like I've actually got like 160k views on one of my videos, which is like, I don't think you can call that viral, but I think you can call it like very viewed, which is cool. It's just like a nice idea because it's like, hey, like 160 people have seen my face. 160k people have seen my face, which is like pretty cool, to be fair. And to keep posting on Instagram, I'm like on the middle of trying to start business. So anyway, that's me and my biz. So now you caught up with the tea, let's go. So it's just like ideas. Sometimes when I've got some inspiration, I'll write them down on my phone. So the idea of being the change that you want to see, and I like this idea because it often, the thing about my hair is because I've just flipped it in, when I flip it around it's going to be kind of annoying, but we'll just go with it anyway. And I think this is an idea which I think, if you see the change that you want to be the change you want to see. What did I just say? If you see the change you want to be the change you want to see. That should be on a t-shirt. That's going to be my new strapline, I'm sure. And it's just like, obviously when you're busy and you're in the middle of something and you've got a life season and you're doing a job or whatever you're doing and you don't see what you want to be, just be what you are. Be what you're doing. But equally, if you do see a change, like this is where I'm like, oh, I really want to start my business, because like in my area I don't really see any businesses in person that are doing the type of shit that I want to do, and that's like selling quality products, DIY and otherwise, either in person or on the internet or both. And it's like, I want to be that change. Like I want to be that person that you see on the market and you're like, oh my god, they've got like so much nice shit. And not that they don't have markets with nice shit, but like the type of nice shit that I want to sell, you know. And it's like, and I think the thing is, like, not to over apply this, because I feel like I kind of used, like, I didn't used to be fair, you always reflect back on yourself in a slightly rosy coloured mindset. I mean, you know, you can't always be the change you want to see within social groups or within dynamics that like are like there's a bigger deity at work. Do you know what I mean? Like if there's like bigger elements going on, like it's not always about like, ooh, I want to do this and like this would be cool if but it is. But also sometimes there are scenarios where other things will kind of come first, and that's, you have to sort of like fit in where you fit in, and that's understandable. But that is still a sense of minimization, but it's just the fact of like you can't really go around life just like dictating every aspect of a situation. You are going to have to fit in places, but it doesn't mean that you can't find avenues to bring that sort of energy as well. Like you have to like, that kind of sounds kind of like to minimize yourself, which is not great. Obviously this usually comes with being around dominating people as well, and usually having to navigate that. But that is also a part of life, I suppose. It's not about becoming narcissistic yourself, to be fair, where you're sort of overdoing the self-domination, trying to shove yourself in front of lots of different people. Like sometimes there is just a place to find the hierarchy and sort of slot in there, and it is a good thing to be able to do as well. But also, yeah, so the idea as well of being dangerous and then you don't have to be. I've heard about this. These are just like all random topics, but I'm just gonna like discuss a few of them because it's still interesting. And it's like, it definitely is the case, like you know, you could attack a narcissist. Let's just bring narcissism into this. But you know, at the end of the day, if you could attack them but you choose not to, that's being dangerous and not being dangerous. Like you could be dangerous but you don't have to be dangerous. And it applies to other things as well, like trying to think, not just narcissism, but just like people overall in general. Like it's not to say you have to like take loads of people's bollocks if you don't want to, or you're not in the predicament to. Like if you don't need to be there, like don't take their bollocks. But also it's just like I think just in life in general, there's something like that really hits about being in a scenario and someone being rude and just saying nothing and like moving away from the situation. Like that speaks so much louder than if you were to be like, and you're an asshole, why did you say that, and and like you're just an idiot and you have no idea. Like I'm terrible at smash talking, you know, I really suck at it because I literally just grew up quiet in my teenage years. Before that I was like super loud and crazy, but then I hit teenagers and the anxiety kicked in and that was all kind of shit. I swear I used to overcompensate for my anxiety by being really loud. Anyway, and then but also along with this, turning, so I don't know if it's worth using the word alchemist, but turning your minuses into pluses and embracing your dharma, because you know, it's, you know, there's a place to say yes, you have to alchemize yourself in environments sometimes where you're in a group setting and you have to just fit the status quo a bit, because I feel like I come across very left-wing, and I am a very left-wing person, and like I definitely am like, oh, you know, you have to, because I know about astrology and I know about the fact we've moved into a new astrological era, not to overdo spirituality. I did remove a spiritual video of mine because I did not want it to mislead people down the wrong track or glamorize levels of spirituality that are unhelpful and unhealthy. And I didn't want to be associated with that either, to be honest, because it's not the nicest thing. But there is a train in astrology to say that we've moved into a place where we're more focused on ourselves rather than others. And we look to ourselves first, and this has brought about this very left-wing mentality in my own mind, especially growing up with like immigrant grandparents. You also, I do think, have a mindset of like, I have to like make my way and pave my way in the world, and that is literally created a very left-wing mentality in myself. But also I think if you do swing on the left-wing side, and by left-wing I mean like very individualistic and like not like the status quo, and not like I fit into a box like every other human being, that's right wing. It's, but more right wing is also about like liberalism and community and stuff like that. It's like, let's please the collective and let's fit into society. That's kind of the way that goes. You know, and stuff like that, and like let's do things for the like highest purpose of all and stuff, and they both have a place. But I definitely think like there's a place when you're a left-wing kind of person overall to fit into the right-wing mentality to an extent, or to live in a right-wing world, to be like, you know, I do want to fit into the world and not be this like outcast because I'm like too good for the whole world. Like in a way I can walk around with my friends and be like, yeah, I'm too good for this, like no hate, I'm literally too good for this situation, I can do better, I can do better than you in a relationship, I can do better than you in this job, I can do better than you in this environment, I can do better than you, I am better than you. Like you can say that with your friends from an egotistical standpoint or a truthful standpoint, whatever way you want to look at it. But equally, because I've got friends like that, like but it's also like, you know, to be in a mentality of like, I can't adhere to the socializing that is natural as a human being because I'm too stuck in my own left-wing mindset, is dysfunctional, and it also creates problems that need not necessarily be there. So I think it's not about necessarily crucifying yourself, but you can sacrifice aspects of yourself. This is what I'm saying, because I've done so much like conversation on narcissism and stuff, all relevant, all prevalent, all stand by it. I do stand by it. I do think there's a place in the world for narcissism, and you do have to deal with narcissists. And also I do think, I've said before, that people with borderline personality aspects, or people that are kind of narcissistic but don't recognise it, often project their narcissism onto narcissists. But equally, narcissism is a whole issue in itself, and regardless of anything else, so it's good to learn about that. But equally, they are quite, like, there is a place in society for them, and we do have to navigate each other as humans. And yeah, so on that then, but apart from like just the right wing, like embracing, you know, like navigating the right wing, because also I think often to do with left wing and right wing, so like the self-focused mindset or the group-focused mindset, I do think often when you have conversations as a left-wing person with a right-wing person or vice versa, it can really open your mind to another person's perspective and how the world functions. Like you can walk through the world sometimes as a left-wing person and think like, oh, this person's stupid, this person, like, this is just me, this is what goes through my mind, it's really sad, this person's stupid, this person doesn't know how to do their job, this person's lazy, this person doesn't know how to be polite, this person doesn't give a fuck about anyone apart from themselves, where really they'll have all of this other shit as priorities, you know. Not to say that everyone's always got your best interests at heart and that they're not rude and that they're not lazy and this and that and the other, but equally often if someone is lazy, they're probably just tired from doing something else potentially, or putting their own priorities into place so they can appear lazy to you, or they might see you as lazy, you know, and act lazy around you because they don't perceive you in the right way. So we all have our own intelligence. I'm definitely a massive believer of like, no one is unintelligent, I don't think. I think the idea of intelligence comes, like in the mainstream, comes from meritocracy, which is bollocks often. And I genuinely don't believe if you go to uni you're any more necessarily intelligent than someone that didn't go to uni. Like Alan Sugar didn't go to uni, he's like one of the richest people in England, I'm sure. I don't really know all the statistics about it, but like, you haven't got to go to uni. I'm not saying that you shouldn't go to uni and that like people that go to uni are bad, but I'm like, just because you go and are educationally like intelligent doesn't mean you're necessarily any more intelligent, or you might be a lot less intelligent than someone, for example, with autism, that's got like extreme intelligence in certain areas and actually very functional intelligence in certain areas. Like people just think if you've got autism, you've got a disability, which yes is true, but like, for example, certain people with autism are like so intelligent in like social areas because they have to have compensated their whole life, or they're super like mathematically intelligent, which makes them amazing at like insurance. You know, people think because they've gone to uni and they're like neurotypical, it makes them like the like creme de la creme, and they're just not. I'm not saying that they necessarily all think that, and I'm not trying to like hate on people that go to uni here, but I'm just saying like intelligence comes in different forms. I'm definitely a big believer of like, because I'm educated to a level, you know, I didn't go to uni and then got into it, but it's like, it's not the creme de la creme. And also, you know, you have to be aware of different people. I mean, some people choose not to be aware of different people and that's their prerogative, but at the end of the day, you know, we all have intelligence in different ways, and that is definitely the truth. So, you know, we need people to go to uni, obviously. That's where my doctor goes, has gone, and my dentist, you know, and obviously lots of other people, so that's always good. Oh, I just wanted to talk about as well, because I've only got like 9 minutes left on my camera, so it's not going to be super long, but this idea of like, I've kind of spoke about this, that thing and another, so justified anger. So this is something I'm navigating, because I've found as I've grown up that I used to repress all of my anger. I've spoken a couple of times about where I have literally undiagnosed autism, which like I literally probably need to get assessed for quite soon, and or diagnosed ADHD. Whether it's clinical or not, I don't know, but I probably do need to be diagnosed or assessed. But I used to repress all of my anger because I didn't know how to cope with it, and often I'd just like vent a lot of my anger into like creative pursuits, songwriting, stuff like that, and like eating disorder. Forget I said that bit. That is really not good to collaborate. Like I literally had issues, but I did have gluten intolerance. I had a couple of issues around that, so that's just like, that's not anything to talk about now, and that's a really serious issue, and I don't want to talk about that now. So, but no, I literally had lots of issues with anger when I was younger, and sorry, as I've grown up, I've noticed that those issues have become more obvious, to the point where I did get myself in a legal predicament because of a misdemeanor that came about from an incident based around my anger being vented in an area which it overflowed in. So that being said, you know, but sometimes it's fine to have justified anger, but what I'm saying is you have to leak your anger in places. Like I've always been like, because I've experienced passive aggression from narcissists and stuff, I think it's really important to engage in healthy narcissism even when you know about narcissism, because if you don't, you may be at risk of like swinging in the complete opposite direction, which can become unhealthy. Like I've actually done a video a while ago on integrating aggression, but I just think like regardless of narcissism, like you have to like manage your anger, and if you've got like an angry streak, to be able to deal with that and just put stuff in perspective. I think that's like a whole other video. But like I'm sure if anyone's got anger issues, they will be able to deal with it themselves, but sometimes counting to 10 is good. Anyway, moving swiftly on. And the last thing I'm going to talk about is building your kingdom. So I did go to the church this morning because sometimes I do go in there. I was raised religious and I'm not really religious anymore, but I do still believe in God. I did leave there thinking, oh, I could basically pray at home, and being in this place really isn't like that nice of a difference. Maybe equally it's a very spiritual place, so we respect it for what it is. But there is something to be said about this thing called idolatry in the Bible, as per what is morally and morally unjust. Moral and morally unjust, and just as a discussion topic. And I swing backwards and forwards with this because I think there's places in the Bible where idolatry is like spoken about, in like Egypt and blah blah blah, and the thing is, I get motivation from, to a sense, idolize a scenario and to romanticize it, if you like. It gives me inspiration and it gives me a focus and it gives me a clear image to go for. Like that is really easy for me to engage with, whereas sometimes the literal and logistical ways of going about things is not only uninteresting to me, but it's also not very functional. And I think that's the whole preface that marketing works on, to be honest. Like if you see an image of something that's really like obvious and focused, you're going to want to get it more than if they had text writing, go to the shop and buy this. Do you know what I mean? I think that's just like kind of part of life. But it is kind of like you have to, I do think if you overly find idolatry within things, you are kind of like, it naturally fucks up basically after a while, and it's fine to romanticize as a functional mechanism. But I think when it comes to like building your kingdom, like I think there's this fine line between it. It depends how you think. Some people are have an external mindset, and some people have an internal mindset. Like they look at their own locus of control versus what the world and the universe brings them. So I'm more of an externalizing kind of mindset. But I think in that sense, it's important to figure out what your desires are, you know. I'm not saying like don't idolize at all, because at the end of the day the Bible is not literal necessarily, and the Bible is pretty much irrelevant to most people. So but it's like, you know, finding your desires can help you like build whatever it is that you want in your kingdom. Because like some people don't want certain things at certain periods and do want things at other periods. But it's like, you know, people look at your, like, you can like look at your like wheel of life, like that people can make sometimes on the internet and stuff. I used to do this, where it's like job, career, relationships, friendships, hobbies, which is like the main ones, whatever, some probably even more of them, but it's like they're kind of the ones that generally fit for most people. But some people might think, I don't want a relationship, I don't want a career, I don't want friends, I don't want this, I don't want hobbies. Do you know what I mean? There might be things that some people don't choose to want, and it's just about figuring out what that is, because there's nothing wrong with not wanting a relationship, especially for periods. Like, I'm kind of in that mode at the moment where I'm just like, I ain't got time for no man. Like, I just don't want to deal with them. They are icky to me and they look like little sperms that walk around sometimes, and it stresses me out. So I don't like men at the moment. I'd rather not fuck with them, or deal with them, shall we say. But it is just what it is, and at the end of the day, you have to do you. You have to do what suits you and what floats your boat and what, you know, sorts you out and whatever. You have to do what works for you, and that is just the way that it goes. And your kingdom will look different to someone else's kingdom. I think as much as I'm a left-wing person and I say, oh, the right wing is also important, I think it's also so important to think what you... Ooh,